G'day everyone, welcome to Making of a Halo Magnum Part 5. We'll jump straight into it. We're going to be painting the gun this time. As we left off, we were doing the detail last time, so what you want to do is just quickly place down some sheets of paper, just enough to cover the area so you don't get paint over whatever you're painting on. And what we'll be using is a black, a silver, that's it, two paints, a black and a silver. So first off, you just want to coat the whole gun black. Just do a base layer of black. I use acrylic paints, which are like poster paints or wall paints you use in a house. Something like that, just to keep it costly, and this way it dries fast and it doesn't hurt the styrofoam at all. So just give it a really solid coat. You don't want to really go too hard out on it. Even if you miss a few spots, it doesn't really matter. We'll just go and fully cover the whole thing in black. When you're doing this, do be careful because you don't want to break off any of the extra parts you have on the gun anywhere. Just carefully do it. And the only reason I'm doing one side at the moment is because I've got a proper purpose why I'm doing that, which I'll show you later on in the film. Now, the brush size I'm using, it doesn't really matter as long as you can get enough coverage on your gun without having to do multiple layers is fine. I'm using quite a thick one. And once you've done that, go put it out, let it dry, and then bring it back in. And you want to mix quite a bit of silver, but mix it with kind of a black to get a kind of chrome look. So I'm mixing it up a bit to get a nice solid chrome, and it all has to be one solid color, so it can't be a mixture. And just coat the whole top of the gun. You're always looking at the reference picture to see what part needs to be painted, because you don't want to be painting the wrong thing. So just cover the whole top part, the handrail, and the magazine in this nice chrome color, which we'll then take and go over later on. Try to apply it lightly. You don't want to have a huge coat behind it. The reason why we did a black undercoat is so that when we put this chrome over, it kind of already gives it a thickness and a depth behind the color. If you did a white undercoat, it might not look as good. So do the black and then the chrome on top. And you're always looking at the reference picture, and just be careful you don't break anything off like I did there, because I was doing it a bit too fast and I hadn't glued it on properly. So once we get the chrome stuff done, we'll go put it out in the sun to dry again. When you're putting it out in the sun, be careful. If you do have it out in too long, the styrofoam will actually heat up and it might begin to crackle a bit. So always watch. It only really takes about 5 minutes in a good solid heat to cool down and prepare to be painted next, and gives it enough time for the paint to fully dry so that you're not going to stuff up any of the details. So once that's done, bring it in, find a brush that has stiff bristles, and you're going to go full out silver, not mixing it to make it chrome. Kind of mix it around on the dry brushes and just go ahead and scratch the whole gun. You want to highlight those edges on the gun that really stand out in the light, and to give it that kind of metallic, scratchy, war-torn look. Everyone's always asking me, how do I get that metallic shininess? This is the reason how. You're not actually painting a whole shininess, you're just doing it enough on the edges to really highlight the lights, so that when you're moving it around on camera, the lens really picks up on those corners and makes the gun look more 3D, more realistic, and more accurate. So you can play around with how scratchy you want your texture to look. It all varies on the brush. Now, once we've done that, just go ahead and coat the whole handle, just the handle, it's the only part left, in a full black, as if you look at the reference pictures, the black handle is the only part that is actually black on the gun, so just go ahead and do that, and let that dry, and pretty much you're set. You can always add in extra stuff later on if you want. If you're looking at reference pictures, there's a bunch of red on the triggers and all that kind of stuff, but that's completely up to you to decide. For now, I'm just doing a nice easy tutorial step, and you can go mixing some black in if you want, just to give it a bit more of a destroyed look, but otherwise, that's it. Now, congratulations on watching all the tutorials. If you haven't, and you're just joining me for this one, go back and watch all of them. As you can see in the sidebar here, there's probably a whole bunch of videos with magnums and hashes and 2s and 1s and 3s. Click on one of those, and at the end of the video you'll have links to all of them, and you can hopefully make a magnum. Now, of course, you're all here to finally see what my one turned out, and if your one turned out the same. Now, the one I actually did here on this tutorial was not the one I actually did first. I actually did one first, and I was making that with a high detail for Halo the Fallen, which is a fan film being created at the moment, which I'm a part of, which you can go check out on their Facebook page, but we'll talk about that later. And So I unfortunately wasn't able to film all of that because I needed to really sit down and try hard with it rather than make an easy step-by-step guide tutorial. So this one I did isn't my best quality, but it's nice enough for you guys to follow. Here it is, the Halo Magnum. Well, at least this is what it started like. When we first finished our Halo 1, Part 1, the Part 1 tutorial, we had a block looking like this. And now it's the final one in the 5th, and we've got it to look like that. Now, if yours turned out like this, congratulations, you've successfully made a Magnum. Now, of course, you'll get far better and make many more ones as you continue down this track, I'm sure of it. And of course, you'll get better. You'll never get worse, you always pick up points that you could have done better on the next time, and you'll start learning. Now, this only cost me $10 to make, as probably only you $10 to make, so it's a very nice film prop overall to put in your films, have just showing around, put on your wall or something, when all it was looking like that. So I hope this tutorial was easy enough for you to follow. I know that some of them were quite long, but it was the only way I could really get across each individual steps. Some of my other tutorials, which I've just shown myself in this time-lapse cutting it up, it shows you how it's done, but it doesn't show you how to make it. So this one was a full-on tutorial, letting you guys see each individual step. Now, it took quite a while to film all this and manage it, make sure I could plan out each step to make sure you'd get and understand what it was. Now try to put all that theory and practice into something like these. When you're really trying to build out the best you can, trying to make something as simple as that into a full-on, far more high definition, more bigger detailed gun, it's quite difficult, and you can kind of understand now how skilled and, I don't know, what's the word, determined you have to be to really get the high class of detail you can, or really it's the best you can, and you'll get high detail and better skills through practice and trials. So I hope you guys like it. I'll be doing more tutorials. Please comment below on if these tutorials helped you and what I could do to improve them, as I'm working with you guys now to really emphasize and really help you get these masterpiece guns out of something that is so easy to do and so cheap. You could get this exact gun made of plastic and could cost you about $250. This is $10. Sure, it's not as cool, it's not as durable, but you could go mold this and you can have a whole bunch of them. So my name's Andrew Cook. This is the Frontline Trooper. This has been the Halo Magnum from Halo 1 tutorial. Please like my videos, and if you really enjoyed these tutorials, please go subscribe or consider subscribing. Tell others about my channel. And as always, we can make very epic props with very little cost. My name's Andrew Cook. Have a good day.